Bear with me. I'm just going to quickly pour a drink. If anyone's watching this video out there, do feel free to pour yourself one as well. It's Sunday evening at time of filming. I do have work tomorrow, but...
Hey everyone, welcome back to Feel the Drive and the Downshift podcast. Today we have Ocsar Brown with us, who has the Ocsar Brown YouTube channel and is building a mad, fully forged Mazda MX-5. Welcome, Ocsar. How are you doing?
Hi, yeah, really well, thank you. I know we had a little chat before we came onto the call about life since lockdown and how everything's going on. But yeah, no, everything's going well for me. A few projects behind the scenes, one which you mentioned in your introduction. But yeah, generally everything's been going well. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing well. Work's still going, so I'm quite lucky in that way, working from home and having a great time having guests on a podcast. So I can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice. I mean, prior to the whole situation, you could go to car meets, do that sort of thing, shows, but it's, yeah, a bit of a breath of fresh air to be able to do something almost face to face. I guess it's still virtual, but yeah, hopefully when all this eases, maybe we can do a podcast on my channel or something in person. So yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be great. So I actually just noticed, I was thinking in my head, okay, the introduction, introduce you, and I was like, wait a second, I know your name, but is that your YouTube channel? And I looked it up again, and you've recently changed your YouTube channel name from Exhausted to your name.
Yes.
So how come you did that?
Right, well, you know what? I've been asked this question so many times. So yeah, I've pretty much got my response almost engraved on the back of my brain. But yeah, basically, I'm starting off YouTube probably about 3 years ago. Started off with the MX-5 when I first got it, just doing little bits and pieces. And I originally called the channel Exhausted just because car exhausts. And I'm normally exhausted by the time I finish working on my car. So that's where the channel kind of stemmed from. And over that time, everyone thought my name was Ed, funnily enough, firstly, for some reason, because it was Exhaust and then dash Ed. So it kind of was more resemblant to cars. But yeah, everyone thought my name was Ed, first of all, which drove me up the wall. I had in the comment section, people saying, oh, awesome video, Ed. And I just kept replying, like, my name's not Ed. It's actually Ocsar, which I've changed my channel to. But also, I mean, I just wanted to almost make it a bit more personal. I didn't want it to be necessarily branded. I wanted it to be just me, just a stripped back version of that. I've always my motivation to do YouTube has always been not necessarily for viewers, more to almost have like a virtual diary of my progress with the car, which I can look back on in, 10, 20 years time and say, yeah, this is what I did whilst I was growing up, rather than, traditionally you might have photo albums, that sort of thing, but technology has allowed us to have this platform where we can get videos, post them online. If they get views, fantastic. Nice for people to watch, provide some entertainment. But it was mainly just, to just make it a bit more personal to me, to have my sort of video log. And yeah, also the fact that my name's not actually Ed. So I rebranded the channel. Funnily enough, I think quite a few people probably thinking, where have I actually gone, and haven't noticed the name change. Some of them have, so I probably do need to do a video addressing that in a bit more detail. I mean, I did speak about it in a video, but maybe something in the title which basically says, hey, this is me.
Exhausted still here, but it's not Ed.
Yeah, exactly, it's Ocsar. So yeah, I guess that's the fundamental reasons behind it. And also kind of more long term, I wanted to almost set up a brand secondary to the channel. I don't know, didn't really want my YouTube name to be, for example, on merchandise. If I get that far down the line, I'd rather kind of promote a side business. I mean, I've always been quite business minded. I like juggling that sort of thing. So yeah, I just thought the personal aspect of it, and yeah, just all those sort of reasons all tied together. And yeah, I actually just changed the name one evening. I was just sitting in bed and I thought, let's do it. I've been thinking about it for so long. And yeah, finally pulled the trigger.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, oh, that's gone wrong. Yeah, I mean, we all grow up especially our generation, it's don't use your name online, it's not safe, blah 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 blah. And
Mm,
then now it's okay, your name is your brand, you can put that out there and make something from it.
mm.
Like even if you're just doing it as a video diary, if some time down the line you can have merchandise, whatever, that's your name attached to it. And I
Hmm.
guess that's a really cool thing that you can do now, which you couldn't really do before unless you used your name for car manufacturer or like makeup or fashion.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's given us a platform where I think people can express themselves and do things which most people wouldn't see. I mean, I find kind of modifying cars is just something just to do to relax, and I think other people who maybe might not be in a position to do that, maybe because of their age and they can't drive and work on cars. I mean, before I got my first car, I watched car YouTube videos, and that kind of taught me everything I know in terms of how to build an engine. For example, I didn't step out my mum's tummy and magically know how to build an engine. It's through the platform, just being
Yeah.
able to educate people. And yeah, it's also my way of just giving something back, I think, to the general community.
Yeah, and if you do something that and people watch it and they go, oh, okay, I can do that, or that's how you do it, and you kind of just giving back, like you said, and helping other people who might be in the same situation or a similar one. They can see what you've done and go, oh, okay, and then build themselves up from there, which is quite cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, well, what I saw anyway is I thought, oh, this is so straightforward. And in reality, when you're actually learning to do these things to cars, you spend probably for a 10-minute video, I probably spend a day and a half banging my head against the wall because something won't, go to plan, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And I don't think that's necessarily shown, and people think it's just a walk in the park. So I guess I like to be quite bare bones of it and not make out like I'm, some crazy mechanic who knows everything they're doing. I've come from no mechanical background whatsoever. So yeah, I think it's quite cool to just show people what it's like in reality rather than like a false representation of, I can just pick up a set of wrenches and build an engine, for example. In reality, yeah, it's not that easy.
no, there've been a few spanners thrown on the ground and lots of bloody knuckles.
10, 10 millimeters taking a walk in the park. That's
Oh God, that is the worst. I was actually doing a clear out in my parents' garage, and I found 3 10 millimeter bolt sockets. I was like, jackpot! That's it. I've completed life. Don't know where they are now,
funnily
but
enough,
found them at the time.
yeah, that's all that matters. I mean, funnily enough, when I was doing the engine bay, in the chassis rails in the engine bay, there's a little hole and they're almost hollow. And I was shining a light just looking for imperfections in the filler, and there was a little shiny like socket just which had fallen through into the chassis rail. And I've had this think whenever I've been accelerating for a while, and it's obviously the 10 millimeter rolling backwards and forwards inside there. So yeah, I proceeded to spend a good hour and a half with a magnet, tweezers, pliers, everything trying to get it out. And yeah, finally retrieved the 10 millimeter, which I lost some months ago. So yeah, I think every petrol head has a story of a 10 millimeter socket.
Yeah, just disappearing and turning up somewhere you don't want it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how did you? So you started YouTube with the MX-5. How did that come about? Why did you choose the MX-5?
So my first car was a Peugeot 307, and yeah, I kind of went through the process of just doing all the things you do to your first car, like tinting the lights, all of that sort of thing. Which I look back on, so you could say shame, but not, because I learned a lot from that car. But I'd always, before I started driving, I'd always wanted an MX-5, and I've actually got a picture on my personal Instagram of just a mug, and this is from like 2015 with MX-5 funds written on it. And just for context, I passed my driving test in 2016, so this was a year before then, and I'd just been saving, putting money away. Um, I mean, I could have probably bought one as my first car, but I mean, I'm sure you're aware in the UK, insurance prices are extortionate, especially when you
Yeah.
just started driving. And also, I didn't want to buy just, your old 500 quid MX-5, which you can pick up on Facebook, which is rusty, which, like you said, is probably going to end up in a graveyard at some point in the next year. I wanted to get the best MX-5 I could find almost, kind of no budget at all. So yeah, I saved up, got the MX-5 on Auto Trader for just shy of 3.5 grand, which at the time was quite a lot for an MX-5. I mean, now you see them like 6 grand, I think. Jesus, if I kept that stock, I probably could have made a little bit of money. um, but yeah, no, bought the MX-5.
Is
I
it the
mean, yeah,
Mark One you have?
yeah, Mark 1,
Yeah.
1995, 1.8 litre UK spec, which was actually a bit of a shame because I always wanted the import. But yeah, I mean, it came up in the colour which I wanted, 40 odd thousand miles. So for a over 20-year-old car, 40,000 miles is almost unheard of.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just couldn't turn it down. So yeah, when I picked it up the same day I saw it, when I paid for it, and then it was delivered about a week later because it had to be run through an MOT, be all professionally detailed, everything like that. So yeah, bought it from a Mazda garage, so I was pretty confident with the history and that it was in such good nick as they said it was. So yeah, that's kind of the story behind what led me to MX-5s, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you got the pop-up headlights. Growing up, they are the coolest thing. Still the coolest thing on a car, a pop-up headlights.
Yeah, I think. I mean, even little things like, I mean, I have so much fun when I'm driving and I, let someone go or say thank you to someone just to pop up the headlights up and down rather than flashing, just brightens everyone's day. I'm beaming ear to ear every time I do it. And, you get people which you wouldn't think in reality would find it so amusing and find it so satisfying. But, I get elderly ladies that just smiling and just waving and stuff like that. So, yeah, it is really good fun. Like you said, you can't beat classic pop-up headlights. I think that was one of the selling points for me of the Mark 1 over the Mark 2 or any later models in general.
Yeah, no, I remember looking at MX-5s for my second car because I had a 206 my first car. So second car I knew I wanted rear wheel drive. It had to be rear wheel drive. So I was looking at MX-5s and it had to be a Mark 1. But finding a decent Mark 1 is hard, and if they're decent, they're expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it slipped away. I got the BMW Z3, so a little bit more powerful, a little bit nice German. But I mean, if I could get a Mark 1 MX-5 and just to have it as a project car to mess around with it, and I would easily. It's a car that I'd love to experience, and it's a cult classic, and it's a good car. You can't really go wrong with them unless it's cheap and £500 from Facebook.
Literally, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, yeah, like you say, I think it's definitely becoming a modern classic, and it's aged so well as well. I mean, it was the 30th anniversary a couple of years ago of the MX-5, since it was first brought into since it was first manufactured. Yeah, I think it's aged so well. I mean, even the Mark IV, I think, I don't find many modern cars what I'd call beautiful. I find quite a few modern cars that look good, don't get me wrong. An M4, that sort of thing, lovely looking cars, but I don't know, there's something about the MX-5 which is just timeless. And, I think you could look at the car 20, 30 years time and think, wow, it's a lovely car. It's got really good, like, almost design cues. And I think also it was just way ahead of its age in terms of when it came out. There were, car styling generally tended to be quite boxy. And the MX-5 kind of, I guess, threw a massive curveball in there because it's the most, rounded car you can actually get.
Yeah,
That's,
really
I guess, one of the
soft, really
reasons.
curvy.
Exactly, and that's why it gets the tag a hairdresser's car, which we'll probably talk about later, I can imagine. But I just think, yeah, it was way ahead of its time. Great car. I mean, like you say, with the Z3, there's a very similar platform in terms of handling, similar sort of power levels. So I guess you get a similar sort of driving experience. But yeah, I would definitely, if you haven't driven an MX-5, I'd definitely urge you to do so. Probably be a big financial mistake, but yeah,
To
definitely
buy
drive
one,
one
yeah, but to
because
drive one, I might get lucky.
yeah, yeah, maybe when one's back on the road, you can take it for a spin.
Oh, well,
Yeah, well,
when it's back on the road, it might have a big engine in it, so I'll be a
a little bit cautious. Yeah, I think I probably will be the same for the first couple of weeks driving it because I definitely would not want to wrap that around a tree after all that work.
Yeah. Got to
But
bet
yeah, no, it should.
properly as well.
Yeah, I think it needs to do. I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head, but about 1,000 miles break-in, which I'll probably do in the first 2 days because I'll just drive it up and down the country. But yeah, no, it should be good. I mean, that's probably actually not too smart. If something goes wrong and I'm halfway up the UK, yeah, it would be quite costly to get it brought home. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, all things for the future to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. So, what made you want to go the engine rebuild route?
So, kind of when I first bought it, I knew the intention was to turbocharge it. I did that. What year was that? Would have been summer 2018. It was back on the road after doing that. I don't know. I was running about 250 horsepower to the wheels, so a nice step, well, double factory power, give or take 10, just 10 horsepower less. And yeah, it was really fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, that was bloody fast. Just when you put your foot down, and it was really surprising the cars it could compete with at that power level. I guess, I mean, if you know me personally, like I'm very, like, A, spontaneous, but B, quite a bit of a thrill seeker, and I always have been since I was younger. I guess that led me to getting quite bored of the power. I think, I probably spent a couple of months turbocharging it because I was just doing it on the odd evening after work, that sort of thing. And then, yeah, it was on the road July 2018, and then I pulled the engine just before Christmas that year. So I think it lasted about 5-6 months before I was like, no, let's go for more power. So, yeah, a bit of a slippery slope, and definitely probably my most expensive life decision to date. But yeah, hopefully it all will be worth it. I mean, I guess back to the question, why did I decide to do it? Just not, I would say to be different, but the amount of times it's been done, you can't count on your hands. It's been, done so many times. I just wanted to do it my way. I wanted to learn how to build an engine, and the MX-5 is a fantastic platform to learn how to do these sort of things, just because of how simple everything is. I mean, anyone could pick up an MX-5 and do pretty much anything on it, as long as you do your research, you follow videos. I mentioned that it's been done so many times before, and because of that, there is so much information online on forums, which can really help you through it. So I guess it's to start my journey into kind of doing this sort of thing on bigger cars in the future. And also, I just love the MX-5. I mean, I'd never sell it. I'd keep the car until the day I die, as long as it doesn't end up in a graveyard. But I just want it's my forever car. So I thought, well, I don't really want to spare any expenses. I want to do it properly, and then enjoy it for years to come.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I mean, you've made your decision that that's the car that you're going to put in a lot more money than it's ever going to be worth, but it's the journey that matters.
Exactly. And like I mentioned before, I mean, I could look back on it in 20, 30 years. When most people would say, well, what did you do in your 20s, for example? And most people would probably respond, I was out in Ibiza partying, I was at the pub every weekend, which, don't get me wrong, I am at the pub every weekend, but I've got something more, and I've got something to show for it. And just something I think it should be quite cool to like show my children of the future, if that day comes one day. I think, just something I'm really passionate about, really enjoy. So yeah, the expense isn't an expense to me. It's more of an investment into my happiness and my hobby. So
yeah, that's a really cool way to put it. Have you taken any, or I take it you probably followed Alex from Car Throttle's journey with his MX-5. Have you taken any kind of inspiration from that?
You know what? Phil Alex's MX-5 is, beautiful car. He's done the V6 Jag engine conversion. The short answer to the question is no. I'd like to do kind of everything as unique as possible. And I didn't want to do an engine swap. I mean, some people are probably watching screaming. You can do an engine swap for a fraction of the price I probably spent so far on the car, and it will make more power than it will. But that just almost felt like I'm not building an MX-5. I'm just using the chassis and putting a new engine on it, and that just didn't really appeal to me. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some crazy engine swaps. I've seen a W12 swapped into an MX-5 on Instagram, which is ridiculous. To get something like that to fit in an MX-5 engine bay is insane. But I wanted to keep the handling, the weight distribution of the car, and you can't really do that by swapping in another engine. So yeah, that's, I guess, the main reason why. But yeah, no, Alex's MX-5 is a lovely car, and the Soul Red he's painted it in, off the Mark IV. is really good. Yeah, I love it. I'm thinking of doing a colour change, actually, to a probably similar colour, which I probably won't reveal in today's video. But yeah, I, yeah, really awesome car. But yeah, no, I like to do everything as differently as possible. So no, not really taking much inspiration from that, I don't think.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, no, that the color is amazing. I love that dark, deep red that it has. I mean,
Mm.
just red cars
Yeah.
in general are the best color for me,
I
anyway.
think red cars are just generally faster than the same car in any other colour anyway.
Yeah,
That's the mindset or philosophy I've seemed to adapted over the years.
yeah, yeah. My Peugeot 206 was definitely faster than every other car that wasn't red.
Yeah, and I think it's something about like growing up. I loved Ferraris, the film Cars, which I think everyone's seen. I think just that stigma of, I don't know, red cars are fast. That's just what I've had growing up. I mean, my toy car when I was about 5 years old was red. Um, so yeah, I think that's almost brings me back to my childhood as well. Reason why I wanted a red one. Yeah, I don't know. Just red cars just definitely tickled a spot for me.
Yeah, no, it's the same for me. Like, growing up, I used to watch Formula One, and it was the red car winning. So the red car's the fastest, the red car's the best one. So cars
Mm,
have to be red. Although now I've had a black one, I've got a silver one. So my red 26. I need to go back to red at some point.
mm,
Yeah, the plan for my Z3, I actually wanted to have it wrapped matte black, but then
no.
with an accent it with matte red or gloss red, one of the
Um,
two ways. And yeah, I'll see if that happens. But that was the idea for it. I thought that would look really nice, really smart. Have it kind of like a very stealthy looking car. But yeah,
mm, yeah, I am a fan of matte black cars actually. Yeah, got a couple of ideas for a new daily driver. Daily driver silver Toyota Corolla. And yeah, silver car. I don't know. My Peugeot 307 was silver as well, and I spray painted that with rattle cans, which actually surprisingly turned out quite well. I'll have to send you a picture after the video because I proceeded to actually. You know what? I think it might be on my Instagram. You scroll down however far, but yeah, I painted that. The color was, oh god, it was Ford colour. It's Ford Electric Monza Blue. So as the name suggests, it's quite a bold colour,
yeah,
quite similar to the Mark III Focus RS, that bright blue colour which you can get them in. It's quite a similar colour to that. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking at the time, to be fair, to spray a Peugeot 307 that colour, but it looked pretty
why
cool.
not?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a journey. I just thought, why not? And it probably cost me about 150 quid all in, which isn't too expensive. So, yeah,
Damn
fun
sight
little
cheaper than
car,
getting it
definitely.
properly repainted.
Oh, God. I mean, when I get around to doing the MX-5, I'll do that myself, but do it properly this time with like a spray booth and air compressor. But yeah, I mean, I got a quote, and to just get the outside resprayed, you're looking at about 2 grand. And that's not even taking it apart and doing, all inside the door jams, the boot, that sort of thing. And I don't want to do it properly. I wouldn't want the car to be one colour on the outside, and you open the door and it's a different colour inside the door. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely an expensive thing to do for sure.
yeah. What about wrapping it? Have you thought about that instead of repainting?
I did consider it, but I guess back to my point, if I want it to be my forever car, I just thought, I want to do it properly. And I've got nothing against wrapping. My next car, like if I get a slightly newer car as a daily driver, I will probably wrap it just because convenience, resale value, you can take a wrap off and it's the exact same car underneath it was before. But yeah, since I want this car to sit on my driveway for years to come, I thought best doing it properly. And you know what? A grand or so compared to the cost I've spent on the MX-5 isn't very much anyway. Sounds ludicrous, but yeah, that's quite an easy decision to make. But yeah, like I say, wrapping it is really cool, and you can do really unique designs with wrapping as well, which I've seen on some cars. I mean, fun enough, actually, down my road, there's 2 gold cars like wrapped chrome gold, like a Range Rover and a BMW. And albeit not to my taste, I do go past them and have a little look every time I drive past. So yeah, I think
Well, I
you can do
think
quite unique things.
glossy gold wrap is a little bit obnoxious for me.
Yeah, definitely not to my taste, but it's something different, right? And people look at it, and I guess that's whoever's decided to wrap their car that colour.
it
does the job it was probably intended to do. So function
gets
over
people to
form, I
look at it.
guess.
So
Exactly.
yeah, so recently you started posting again because you did kind of go quiet for a while, disappear for a little bit, and then you started coming back. So where's this resurgence coming from?
It was mainly, like I mentioned before, the car just sat there for a while. I think I lost a bit of motivation working on it, just because I think in hindsight, I probably thought it would be a lot easier than it was going to be. And I thought, I'd pull the engine out and it would all be back together in 2 months, where in reality, I work a full-time job, I run a business on the side. So I don't have that much free time. And yeah, I just lost motivation with it really. And not working on the car means I had nothing to film. I didn't want to just pump out just generic sort of content, just talking about the latest car releases, that sort of thing. My kind of passion's a lot more in like building cars rather than like car history. Some of my friends from YouTube, they could any car that drove past, they could name exactly what it was, what size engine it has, what 0 to 60 time was, which I definitely respect. And I think everyone within the kind of community has different things which they enjoy and what kind of makes them happy. But yeah, mine was a lot more modifying cars, and I didn't want to one talk about all that sort of thing and film videos on that, and two, it just isn't me. I'd be reading a script, I'd be on Wikipedia in the background, so it's just a bit almost artificial, and that wasn't the route I wanted to take the channel down. So yeah, mainly because I just lost motivation, and I think, like we mentioned before, this whole lockdown situation has been a bit of a godsend almost for the channel as well, because I think now I'm back and happy as ever doing it, and I think having that break was definitely well needed. So yeah, don't regret it. I'm glad I'm back. And yeah, looking up for the future.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you back. I mean, I think the UK car YouTube scene is severely outnumbered by America, so it's good to have another person fighting the corner and representing the UK
Yeah.
the car scene.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think I don't know. I take quite a lot of inspiration from American YouTubers because they do the job properly. I mean, growing up, I always watched TJ Hunt, Adam LZ, and you look at their builds, and they are immaculate. Whereas, and I'm not mentioning any names, I have nothing against any car YouTubers from the UK, but the vast majority of them just do a bodge job, whack it on the car, sell it in 6 months, and it's not a build in my book. It's not a proper build anyway. It's a hobby, and like I said before, everyone has different things they like to do. But I wanted to almost do something a bit different. I don't think there are many UK YouTubers who can say, I've owned this car for 3 years, I've pumped all this money into it, I'm not going to sell it, I'm going to do this properly. And I can't think of many names. Of course, there's a few, but I can't think of many who do that. So yeah, I guess that was my kind of almost idea of it, or trying to convince myself I have somewhat of a unique selling point, but in reality, it's probably just me justifying the ludicrous amount of money I've spent.
Yeah, no, I think you bring up a good point that someone like Adam LZ, he builds up the cars, completely strips them, turns them into brand new machines, and he's got them all. He's kept them all, and that's
exactly.
He's obviously made some form of business for it. That's his job. That's what he does to live, which is really cool. I mean, the fact that you can film yourself working on a car, turn it into something, and have some sort of return from it is amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? I think he actually did a video addressing it in terms of kind of the returns he makes on his cars, because you look at it and think, that's easily 150 grand at least probably pumped into each car. And, to make a return from that and to be able to keep that car, like you say, it blows my mind that you can almost own that sort of car garage doing what you love and not being out of pocket either, being able to sustain that lifestyle through your passion. And, that's what he's built up over the years by doing what he loves. I mean, I've always been of the mindset that to be successful in something, you have to enjoy it. You can't, so many people nowadays think, I'm going to set up a business, I'm going to be successful. And in reality, 2 months later, they, dropped it, don't do anything with it anymore. again, nothing ever comes of it. And that's, obviously there's anomalies, but 9 times out of 10, that's because they don't actually enjoy it. They're just doing it because they want to make money or because they want to achieve some sort of lifestyle which they've seen someone else have. So yeah, I guess Adam LZ is a prime example within our community of someone who has done that, which shows it's possible, I guess.
Yeah, is that something that you'd like your channel to turn into in a few years' time?
You know what? Like, I don't think any car YouTuber could turn around and say they wouldn't like that. I think I'd have to pinch myself. I think in reality, the likelihood is very, very slim. There's thousands of new channels created every day. You always see them popping up, and it's quite unlikely that that will happen. I mean, yeah, I could say I could dream of having that one day, but I just want the channel to be just a fair reflection of my day-to-day life, and whatever I achieve doing it, as long as that point remains intact throughout my journey, then I'm happy. Whether I end up with my MX-5 and just a daily drive for in 10 years' time, or whether I end up like that, which, yeah, like I said, is very, very unlikely. But yeah, I'd be happy either or. But yeah, like I say, would you say no if someone was to offer
Oh
you that?
no, God no, no! I'd say yes in a heartbeat. I think that's one of the things that made me want to get into YouTube properly. I grew up watching gaming YouTubers, and you mess around with really cheap game capture cards and play Call of Duty, FIFA, whatever with friends, and not take it seriously. But then you see people like in the UK, the Sidemen, they're huge. Their life is made, but they were doing the same thing that I was doing all those years ago, but they just kept at it and kept going. It's like, man, if I'd carried on doing that, I didn't realize how big it could have been. And you kind of see that you can, starting any business, there's no guarantees, but especially one on this platform, it's even less of a guarantee because you have to build an audience. You've got to basically find people that say, oh, I like you and your content, and then just build up the numbers. You've got the algorithm to deal with, you've got ads to deal with. There's so much going against you, which in normal business, it's kind of, well, it's written, you can read about it. There's stuff that you can learn about. Well, on YouTube, it's all really new to everyone. And well, every other video is how to get views on YouTube, how to get money on YouTube, and they all say the same thing and they say nothing at the same time, so it helps no one.
Exactly. And we both, I'm sure, be lying if we said we hadn't watched some of those videos before, tried out what they've said,
Oh
and
God,
in
all
reality
the
thinking I've definitely been there and done that. But I think that's kind of, like I said before, where reality kicked in, and I was like, well, no, why am I actually doing this? Am I doing it because I just want to achieve that? And if so, then I'm not enjoying it. Like, I just want to, and I don't mess around with all of these. You can do so many things, like optimizing your videos, tags, that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, I spend some time doing it, but I don't, I think, put as much sort of effort into it like it would be, and, do all of that sort of thing. So, yeah, I guess, yeah, one day maybe it'd be great if, myself or if you grow into something like that. But yeah, as long as I think we're having fun and enjoying ourselves along the way, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That's the main point of it. And any really successful business or anyone who does something that they can live off of, but they love it, is brilliant. And I kind of I look at it, or I started this channel in particular with the view to at some point grow it and have it as a business, because I'm quite entrepreneurial. I like business stuff. I've been into that for ages. So that's kind of just how my mind works. It's okay, this is an opportunity. I can make money from it, but the reality is that if it's something you're doing every day, it has to be something you like doing. So like I'll do the tags. I've got, I think it's what TubeBuddy is, that free thing you get, which it helps optimize like 2 or 3 before you have to pay for it. It's like, look, I'm not doing this as I have to live off the channel, so I'll use the free thing. I'll look at some of the analytics, say, okay, improve a little bit here and there, and thumbnails and stuff, I'm not going to spend hours making a thumbnail to try and bring in 10,000 views when it's like, okay, I'm not expecting that. I'm just going to put out what I can. But from
Yeah.
work, so work with there's a media team that works alongside me. So I've learned a lot about graphic design just from
Hmm.
working alongside them. So stuff like that I've brought into the channel and changed a couple thumbnails, and I've actually seen some growth in views on older
Hmm.
videos. I thought, okay, that's quite cool. I'll maybe have to pay a bit more attention to it.
Hmm.
But it's more of a learning and adding bits as you go, rather than doing everything perfectly at the start. Because that,
Exactly. No one becomes a success overnight, right? And every journey is a journey. It's not like you say, you can't learn to do everything from day one. As long as you're, I guess it goes back to, I've said it so many times, but as long as you're enjoying it, you can't, no one goes, well, okay, some people do, and I did enjoy school at times, but no one likes to sit through 7 back-to-back lessons, especially on subjects which they have no interest in whatsoever.
yeah,
Um, it's a similar sort of thing. If you're doing, if I had one lesson a day of subjects which I wasn't massively keen on, then I'd have a lot more enthusiasm with it. So it's, I guess, a similar sort of philosophy. But yeah, I totally agree. Just taking things slowly. And I guess that's advice for anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel is just enjoy yourself, take it slowly, and don't try to jump all in, because you probably will end up giving up when you see that you've been doing it for 2 months and you're still getting 10 views on each video. And you're like, well, is there any point? Because I'm trying everything and nothing's working. So yeah, no, definitely.
yeah. No, it takes a lot of time. I mean, even now, like these podcasts aren't getting huge amounts of views, but I've learned that it's okay. It's
Hmm.
content. I'm connecting with people, and if my channel grows, it'll be something that people will go back and watch rather than right now it blowing up, which
Hmm.
I'm fine with, because, like you said, it's part of the journey. I'm enjoying doing it, and it's fun. It's fun to do. So
Hmm.
at the end of the day, my channel is for me and showing what I like to do. Like the racing that I got to see, well, I went and filmed it, but when those cars went racing, I was watching all the other races, which were incredible. You've got formula cars, you've got minis, you've got so many different types of cars out there.
Hmm.
Um, and I got to experience that, and I got paid to make those videos for the racing that I did. So I was like, oh, this is really cool that I'm getting paid to do something that I like.
Hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I love my job, but do I love it as much as I enjoy working on my car? No. So yeah, like, if I got paid my salary to sit at home and work on my car all day, I definitely would not be saying no. So like you say, yeah, it's even the smallest amount of income. I mean, now when I rebranded the channel, I actually privatized like 3 years of videos and thought I want to start from scratch and start fresh. And yeah, the little money I was making off them, I don't make anymore. But even just a little bit of money, just as a return, even though in reality it's still a massive loss-making venture. Um, but just to have some sort of, I don't know how you describe it, almost recognition for all of that time work, and say, just to say, hey, this is working. And whether it's a slow journey and whether I never make back what I've invested in the car, it doesn't bother me. Just, yeah, enjoying it, having those small little moments of satisfaction makes it all worthwhile, I think. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, easily. I mean, it's mostly it's my friends commenting nice things, so it's always nice to see those on there. But sometimes I get the odd one saying, "Oh, great video, helpful," or asking more questions about it, and I love that. It's great. It is great.
Yeah.
One of your old videos, or it might not be one of your old videos, but I remember you were featured on JM on Cars channel.
Yes.
So how did that go about?
Well, so he's wow. Last time I checked, I think he was just shy of 100,000 subscribers. I think he's probably surpassed that now. But yeah, I mean, me and Jay probably started talking when he must have been on. He was always above me because he started prior. I think he must have been on like 7 or 8 thousand subscribers. And Jay, he's had a background in film, and when I kind of filmed videos of him back then, the amount of attention to detail he put in, his filming setup was incredible. And the amount of time, everything, I mean, his videos are of such high quality. And it goes kind of back to what we were discussing before, he must have spent so much money on all that and not had a return for so long. And now all of a sudden, one video does well, and he's, really enjoying it. He's doing great from what he's been, I guess, lining up all this time. But we started chatting when he was a lot smaller. He had his Lotus Evora at the time. He just bought, it was BMW like supercharged V8, which he took me for.
The M3 with the flat paddle gearbox.
Yeah, that car was incredible. I mean, I can say that, I had a passenger ride in that, and that thing was quick. But he wanted the video on the car. You know what? In hindsight, it probably wasn't the best time to do it. So I just bolted on like a Rocket Bunny kit. But it hadn't been painted. My wheels were not standard, but for the standard body of the car, so it did look somewhat ridiculous. But it was just a pleasure to meet him in person. We've been kind of lining it up for a while. We just, having a time when both our schedules aligned, is quite difficult. I mean, similar to this. I mean, I think you first reached out to me probably about 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was
something like that.
You had on.
Yes, well, I think it was the podcast video. So how long ago that was, but really awesome guy. It'd be good to meet up with him again at some point. But really awesome. I mean, a couple of things with other YouTubers. I don't know if you know Miller Corner at all.
Yeah.
Joe.
I actually had a chat with him.
Awesome. Yeah, he's got his little yellow fits and chain. So I did a video on that a couple of years ago. Met a couple of other YouTubers, but you know what? It's probably on my to-do list of things I need to start doing more. It's like kind of getting involved more with the community. I guess it's a bit of background about how I kind of know Jay. That video on the channel.
Yeah, and I think one of the big standout points in that video is your tattoo that you've got.
God, I know this would be brought up.
I had to bring it up.
You know what? I mean, everyone always says to me, like, surely you regret that. Like, it's a bit of background behind it. I mean, how old was I? I must have been, I think I was 19. I'm 22 now for context. And I was in Magaluf with my girlfriend at the time.
Every tattoo story starts with I was in Maga.
And I thought, I want a tattoo. What can I get? And every idea I had, I was like, no, I don't want that body. And then I thought, I thought I could just get something, that resembles the MX-5. At the time, it seemed like a good idea. And you know what? I don't actually regret it. I quite like it. Will I get it covered up one day? Maybe. But it still hasn't become old. It's, I mean, everyone that knows, no one has ever in history said it was a good idea. And everyone kind of just laughs and thinks, what a lunatic. I mean, I don't think you'd get Honda Civic tattooed on your arm if you owned a Honda Civic.
No.
I don't know. It was just, I guess, a spur of the moment decision. As with actually both my tattoos, I decided on the day what they were going to be. I just knew I wanted to get one. And you know what? The one I got my first one when I was 16. And I don't regret it still really like it. So I think maybe that works quite well for me. Maybe not the view most people adopt when they're putting something permanently on their body for the rest of their life. But it's worked so far, so proof's in the pudding, right?
I mean, if you decided at 15 that it was your forever car, then you can't really go that far wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So, I have Miata tattooed on my arm in the official, it's basically the exact same logo. I sent the picture to the artist off my arm. So there we go.
No, that's good. I mean, it's a unique story. It's your own journey.
It is definitely different. I mean, I don't think there's many other people who can say that they've done that. So be unique, hey?
Yeah.
That's the story, I guess.
I'm quite the opposite. I haven't got any tattoos. I'd like one, but I just can't imagine. I can't think of one that I'd want to see every day.
Yeah,
I know I want one
that's
at some
true.
point, but it's just exactly what. And for me, I think it has to be something that has enough meaning to me that it's like it's already part of me. So having it imaged
Mm,
on me makes no difference.
mm, yeah. No, I mean, the way I kind of saw it at the time was, you get people that make silly decisions. They get their partner's name tattooed on them when they're young, and they
Never.
regret it for years to come. Yeah, no, definitely never. But I thought, you know what? It's pretty similar to that. Although me and my car are never going to split up, so surely I can't regret it. Like, there's not much my car can do wrong apart from getting a flat tire or something like that every so often. So yeah, I
Cost you
think
about the
we're
same.
together for a lot. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Actually saying that, I kind of regret I shouldn't have taken back. I actually watched a video, I think a week or two ago. It was people who fall in love with objects and stuff, and it was a guy who fell in love with his car. And just as a spoiler, that is definitely not me. I'm not in love with my car, but I do have it tattooed on my arm. But
I
oh
think my
god, yeah,
friend just sent
I
me
just
that
had a little.
video as well. Like,
That
haha, this
wasn't
is
me.
you. Like, no, but kind of.
Yeah, yes, but not in as weird a way as it's presented in that video. Oh god.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I don't know. The car community is probably one of the best places I've been in. Like, especially the car forums. They're always. It's just, oh, I've got this problem. It's either, oh, this is how you fix it. This is where you get the parts. Come to my garage. I'll
Mm,
help you fix it. And or here's a list of stuff on how to do it. There's, I don't think there's any other place that you can really go that's that helpful and has that much of a knowledge base, or just people that want to help.
no, exactly. I think it comes with its downsides as well. There's also a lot of hate in the car community, which I don't think is spoken about enough. Which definitely don't advocate. But yeah, like you say, I mean, I learned everything I know about cars through the car community. I think it's quite nice. It gives every one of us almost a sense of belonging. And you feel like, I'm part of this community, and it's a massive, massive, massive community. And as with any group of people, there's people who maybe don't do things which reflect the community in a light which we all would hope. I mean, you see stories in the newspapers, on Facebook, that sort of thing, of people messing around. And, I'd be a liar if I said I hadn't done a burnout on a road or in a car park or something like that.
Yeah,
But I think there's a time and a place. And, in a car park full of cars where there's kids walking around, that sort of thing is not the time and the place.
definitely not.
Um, so, but yeah, we could probably film a whole other video on perception of the core community here in the UK. So we'll probably leave that one for another day because, yeah, we'll both go on and on. But yeah, no, definitely think, yeah, it's a really, really cool community to be a part of for me anyway.
Yeah, I feel like it's the people that, like you brought up the hate in the car community. I feel like it's the people that don't put the time into building a car, or it's like from the out. It's like the car community, but that outer band, the people that
Mm,
don't put the time and their money into building a car, that just go around. They'll like cars. Maybe they've done some work to their car, but it's they'll go and say, oh, you've done that wrong, or oh, that looks bad, and go to like the Civic group and oh, Civic's front wheel drive, they're crap, whatever. And they'll go to another group of cars and say, oh, my car's better, you didn't do this, didn't do this. But
mm.
that core people that, like, we're all joined in the fact that we've put in time. Obviously, everyone's put in a shitload of money into their car, but you've also that love that you have for it, and it connects everyone in there. Like you might know of S Body Sophie Carpenter.
No, what car does she drive? That might
She
ring a
had a
bell.
Skoda Fabia which was bagged, and now she's got, I think, an S13, S14 maybe.
Oh, I don't know. No, not off the top of my head.
Yeah,
No.
I think she's quite new to the car scene, or to YouTube car scene, but she posted a lot of pictures on Instagram of her car, and I noticed that even she's addressed it herself, that there's so much, like, people always saying, just like show a shit to her about the car and getting her new car,
Hmm.
and just focusing on her rather than the car content. And it's like come on, this is about the car, and she likes the car. It's her way of doing it. For me, I don't know. My brain just doesn't work that way. I just don't
Mm.
get it. For me,
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think if people genuinely share the same passion, which I do, which you do, with their car, I don't think they would hate because they'd understand. But there's cars that I've seen people build, which I think, bloody hell, what have they done there? That's not to my taste. But I wouldn't voice that. And you know what? I'd still support what they've done to their car because I can see that's what, I know if someone said that to me, I'd be like, hey, hold on a minute. Like, I'm doing this because I enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it and if you don't like it, then you know what? Just bugger off. Like, go. I don't, we could have this talk and it's not ever going to change. But I guess that's the way which I see it. When someone posts a comment or something on a video of mine or on the Instagram thing, which isn't positive, I just think you've got nothing better to do with your life. Like, really, would I go around commenting on people's videos that I don't like? Like, I've got much better things to be doing with my time than that. So, yeah, the way I look at it is, are they really part of the community? Well, I think they like to think they are, but in reality, they don't share the same kind of passion which most of us do anyway. Otherwise, they wouldn't be commenting hate on that sort of thing.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Even like car meets, I've seen people bring their cars. It's just go around, look at it, talk to the owners, and everyone's really chilled out. I think it's pretty much the online car community is the only place that has any type of hate. But whether that's
Yeah.
just built from fanboying a Supra, calling all muscle cars and supercars shit, like, okay,
Yeah.
just juvenile. And yes, people build 1,000 horsepower Supras, but it didn't come like that from the factory.
Exactly. And as well, like, yeah, I think with anything, there's a select few which ruin it for everyone. And also, we're getting sidetracked, but the way the media portrays things is how they want it to be portrayed. And, with any hobby, with anything in existence, there is bound to be a negative story in there. But, do you see newspapers talking about, I mean, I've seen loads of articles before, cancer sufferers who have managed to pull through cancer. And the reason why they have is because of their love of cars and they've done something which they enjoy and that's kept them fighting. But do you see that covered on the Metro, on the Daily Mail? No, you don't. What you see is the one story which makes everyone look at the community and think, oh, what a bunch of chavs who race around causing trouble and that sort of thing. When, yeah, in reality, that's not the case. And I think most of the community would agree that there are a small minority, like I said before, who almost ruin it for everyone else. Because sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, when I haven't driven my car in a while, but I get quite a lot of positive attention from it. Then you also get negative attention. And I mean, I think when I drove my Peugeot, it was my first car. I was pulled over 13 times in my first year of driving. And like, yeah, exactly. That's the
Wow.
face everyone makes. And like, for no reason. And like, it's just because of the stigma which the media portrays and that sort of thing, which, a police officer might see a modified car and think, oh, I wonder what they've done wrong. I wonder what's illegal about that. I wonder what they're hiding
Oh
in a
yeah.
car, that sort of thing. So I think that's stopped now. I don't think I've ever been pulled over in the MX-5 by police. I say that, I should probably touch wood because next thing you know, it'll be the day I start the car and I get pulled over or something like that. And it's bound to be something that they find wrong if they want to. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
just generally, I think, like you say, fantastic community. And I think we really need to focus on the positives rather than the negatives. And yeah, I guess then the reputation will precede what people generally do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as we keep going out there, showing how great of a place it is, and everyone else does the same thing, it'll just carry on growing, and everyone will have. Well, we hope that everyone has a great experience with it. Really.
Exactly. And I wonder how big it can become. I mean, it's massive as it is. But, could it be the next next skateboarding, which, you know, could Adam Ellsworthy be the next Tony Hawk? You know, do you know what I mean? It is really cool, and I love it when I see kind of young people kind of form a passion for it. And, you know, even I've had like a couple of guys actually. I won't name names, but like people who probably started watching my videos when they were like 13, 14 years old when I first started the channel, and now they're, you know, 17 doing their driving tests and that sort of thing. You think, wow, like, have I like helped inspire that person? And will they, you know, have this hobby, which, you know, sometimes if everyone goes through their downtimes in life, and sometimes when I'm upset, working on the car is a godsend, you know, it helps to relieve all your problems. Just to think, maybe I could have done my part for the community to help someone else have that sort of, whether it's stress relief, whether it's entertainment, whether it's to make them happy. Yeah, that really gives me a buzz and just makes everything worthwhile.
Yeah, for sure. I remember you had, for a short while, I don't know how it's doing now, you had another Instagram page called Ego Automotive. I think that is you, right?
Yes.
So what was that? What was the idea behind that?
So right, so it was a brand which I wanted long term. I wanted to make into a brand, but at the moment it was just I wanted to kind of just establish a page, and I haven't actually done much work on it in a while. I just kind of wanted to get the name, have it all like trademark, that sort of thing, so it's there when I want it. I guess the idea, so the name which I wanted it to be, which is Auto Ego, that was actually taken on Instagram by an account which hadn't uploaded in like 8 years or whatever, had no followers, and I was like, for God's sake, it's always the way, isn't it? You think of a fantastic idea, and you go to make an Instagram page, and it's taken by someone who doesn't even use the bloody account. But yeah, anyway, I guess the thought behind it, and I guess this stems back to quite a few of my points in the video. It was almost a play on words of alter ego, right? So it's auto ego rather than alter ego, and I guess your alter ego is your kind of other personality, whereas your auto ego is, you know, your expression of your personality, but with cars. And I think cars are almost like a canvas to paint your personality onto. Everyone does something uniquely, everyone does something differently. So I guess it's almost your kind of second personality displayed in the form of a car. So that was the kind of thinking behind the name. There's kind of no plans at this stage to do merchandise or anything like that. One, I've got quite a lot like going on behind the scenes, which that's not on the forefront of my mind. And two, I'm not really, I mean, in a position where I have that much of a following where, you know, I could push that out. So yeah, I mean, it's just something which I definitely want to take forward in the future. I just kind of wanted, like I say, to just kind of get that name off. Really quite passionate about the concept behind the name and what the brand will stand for. So I wanted to, when I had the idea, I thought, you know, all of the Instagram, social media accounts sorted. And then, you know, I can sit on it. And when I want to do it, I can kind of fully go ahead and do that. But yeah, I guess that's a bit of background behind the kind of idea behind sort of the branding, the name, that sort of thing. Yeah, I think it will definitely feature a bit more on the channel. I do plan on maybe getting a couple of t-shirts made just purely for me to wear when filming videos, so kind of, as we said before, to start establishing some sort of brand. Yeah, there is no immediate plans to launch anything or to do anything of that sort in the short-term future anyway.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, it looked like a really cool idea, and I think I remember I actually sent a picture of my car, which never got uploaded.
You know what? Whenever things like that, they always come back to bite you.
No, it's fine. I think the quality of my picture was a lot less than the other cars that you were putting up there, so I have no ill will for that.
To be fair, I think, yeah, I've sent my car into pages a few times before I properly started building it. I don't think, oh no, it did get featured on, I can't remember what MX5 page at one point, but yeah, that was after sending a picture of it to a very large amount of car Instagram pages, which didn't proceed to post the picture. So yeah, I guess if anything, trial and error, right? If you do something 100 times, then maybe one time it will work.
That's the idea. Try again.
Exactly. And if you fail, then fail again. until you succeed. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So your background looks very
Yes.
car, lots of
Hmm.
car parts.
Yep.
Is that all stuff that is off the engine that's going back on, or is this stuff that's new and then going onto the engine?
Fantastic question. You know what? These are everything here. I mean, there's some parts up there. I don't. They're actually my. I've got like. God, actually looking at it, I'm like, bloody hell, why do I still have that? I've got
Just in case, right?
yeah, well, I've got the clock display up there off my Peugeot 307, which I scrapped about 2 years ago. So I don't know why that's sitting there. But yeah, maybe this podcast has given me the realization I need to clear out in my office. But yeah, no, all of these parts are, I guess, original parts of the MX-5. I've got my turbo over there. I don't know if you can see it in picture. Yeah,
Yeah.
right there. But yeah, probably about, I'd say, 30% of it will go back on the car, and the rest of it are all being replaced and upgraded. Just things like the oil pan, obviously that will go back on. You can't really upgrade an oil pan. We probably could. I am actually, well, there's being modifications done there, like a sump baffle, that sort of thing. But yeah, most of these parts are going to be replaced. I'm just keeping them primarily because when I put things back together, I can kind of tick off things that came off, so I don't build the whole engine, put it back into the car, and think, bollocks, I forgot to put on that, and then have to pull it all apart again and do it again. So, yeah, A, for that reason, and B, it makes a somewhat of a nice background. I guess it makes a better background than a bookshelf for filming podcasts. It's somewhat car related, albeit it's rather messy. But yeah, most of it will be upgraded. I mean, the plan with the car is to build the engine to make it as bulletproof as possible. So, no expense spared, upgrade everything that can be upgraded. And then I'll bolt on the old turbo and just tune it like that. So it won't run the power which it's capable of, but I wish I could do that, but it's probably a massive financial mistake once I spent all this money to then go ahead and spend like $4,000 on a gearbox upgrade, $2,000 on a ball on a turbo. I'd love to, but we'll have to wait a bit of time for that. So yeah, I'll probably bolt on the old turbo, tune it. Just guessing, I'll probably run about 320 to the wheels, that sort of figure. Probably could do more, but the gearbox will blow up if I do it anymore. So yeah, it will run about that, and then probably get saving to almost finish it off. I did plan on putting an RX-7 Turbo 2 gearbox in there. Kind of changed my mind since then, mainly because sourcing an RX-7 gearbox in the UK is not the easiest of tasks. And you know what, I probably could source one, but if it blew up, I'd have a hard time finding another one, within a reasonable time frame. So there is a kit an American company do, and they take the gearbox out of the E30 BMWs, and swaps that straight in. But yeah, that costs like $4,000, and that's not even including the gearbox. So yeah, that's a lot of money. So I guess some of the parts will keep. Some of the parts will keep, but yeah, the vast majority of them are being upgraded. Just looking at them and trying to add up how much I still need to spend, and it's quite depressing. So I'm gonna stop looking behind me.
Anything you can turn into nice ornaments or like office house features?
You know what? Funny you mention it, actually. I've actually started doing it on the old pistons. It's downstairs in my garage. I'll show you now. I'll have to send you a picture afterwards or something. But basically, I'm turning it into like a clock. So like the piston and the connecting rod, where that bolts to the crankshaft, it's probably about like a, 50 millimeter kind of hole, which you can get a clock which will fit in there, just like a plastic face. So I'm going to weld it so it stays upright, polish it all up so it's like almost like mirror finish. Make a little clock out of the old pistons. And yeah, I mean, I've got 7 more pistons, which are all covered in oil. So if anyone wants to buy one, that would be fantastic, and we'll put a bit of money back in my pocket. But yeah, I'm going to probably put it on the MX-5 Facebook pages and say, if anyone wants to buy them, then yeah, I'll start making some more, but probably people won't bother. But yeah, oh well.
It'd be nice. It's a nice little memento to have.
Exactly, yeah. It is, I guess, part of the original engine. Just for, look quite nice. I mean, my other half, we're actually looking to buy a house together in the next couple of years. And I did mention I'm making this clock, and from her viewpoint. I don't think I'm going to be allowed to put that anywhere but my office. I did make a joke that I've got 7 more pistons, so I'll make 8 of them, and we'll have one in every single room if she's not careful. But no, I think that's one for the garage or for my office.
No, that's great. I mean, I'd love to have at some point a nice engine coffee table. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, I've seen them. Yeah, yeah, and they polish up the block and put the glass on top of it. It looks stunning.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I've
that
seen
would
a couple things
that would.
like the just the engine block, but you use it as like a wine holder.
Oh, no, what? That's a good idea. I've never thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, that's quite cool. I do want to at some point like build like a cabin in the garden, like what everyone sees on YouTube. Like, because I'm just into cars, but I just generally like doing projects with my hands, building stuff, like decorating. I just really enjoy doing all of that sort of thing as well. So yeah, I really want to build like a cabin in the back garden and like make my own bar or pub in there. So that might be a cool idea, like a engine block wine holder, yeah, or something like
Yeah,
champagne.
someone from my old secondary school actually just did that during lockdown. They built a small like shed pub in the back of their garden,
Yeah, I've seen a
and
few
it looks
people doing
really
it.
good.
Yeah, I'm so jealous I didn't think of the idea 4 months ago. But I guess that being said, then I probably wouldn't have started buying parts for the MX-5. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. The
Not a
pub can wait,
project, not a
hey?
time.
Yeah, God, don't get me started on unfinished projects. There's so much going on, it's ridiculous. Yeah, sometimes you need to step back and have a break, but my brain doesn't seem to work that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, one uncommitted project, one unfinished project. You actually mentioned it in your latest video. Is the camper van, the van
Yeah,
conversing. It was a really cool idea. Actually, once I saw you start it, a whole bunch of other YouTubers were like, "Yeah, we're making a camper van out of a van." So I think
yeah.
you might have low key started a big trend on YouTube.
Started, started the trend and then not better finished. I think I mentioned in the video, like, I will definitely buy another van, do that project again at some point. Just financially, like, it just wasn't viable. And like, I was like, what would I prefer to do? Would I prefer to finish the MX-5 or would I prefer to finish the camper van? And that was a no-brainer. And secondly, like, I wasn't that deep into it really. All I'd done was like a frame inside and some insulated flooring. So it's not like I'd spent an arm and a leg to get to where I was. And I thought, I need space on the driveway. 2003 burgundy Citroen Arido camper van doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing on the eye sitting on the driveway as you may think. Yeah, just taking up space, and I was just like, I just need to get rid of it. I just had too much on, and yeah, there was money sitting in it which I could spend on the MX-5. So I thought, that was the final straw, and I thought, yeah, I'll sell it. But I definitely will do another one at some point. It's a really cool idea, and I think it would be so much fun to just do something like that. And then the options are endless. I really wanted, the end goal was to maybe get a trailer or something like that, which I could put the MX-5 on and maybe do like a tour of Europe or something like that and drive as many like famous road tracks as possible.
Yeah,
And like, yeah, do that sort of thing. But that never materialised. But one day, hey,
yeah,
still got
that sounds
hopefully
like a really cool
many
idea.
years to come. Yeah, that was the plan. But we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
Exactly. Yeah. Famous last words. Anyway.
Yeah. Have you got your eyes, or do you have anything that you're thinking of once you've finished your MX-5? Is there another car that's got your eye that you think I'd like to work on that next?
Well, now, God, if I was to go through all of the cars which I want, we'd probably be here until midnight tonight. And for the viewers, it's 8:15 in the evening. But God, where do I start? I think, well, actually, you might have seen in a recent video. I don't actually know if the video's live yet, but I did mention it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I've got a few videos scheduled. I'm not sure what order they went up, but I was actually not looking to buy another car until the MX-Y was back on the road. And I was just scrolling through on Facebook, like I do, looking at the used car market, thinking I'm not going to buy anything, but you never know, something might come up, which is just a no-brainer. I saw this advert for a classic Mini, like a 1960s Mini, and when I say it had seen better days, it was a shambles. It was bad. Like it needed a hell of a lot of welding. It was, 4 flat tires. It needed a full restoration. But for 500 quid for a classic Mini, I thought, Jesus, that is a bargain. And like, those things fetch north of like 12 grand, like in good nick. And I thought, like, even if I spend 5-6 grand doing it up, drive it for a year, and then make a profit on it, why not? And also make a pretty cool project. I did a bit of research, and there's not that many car YouTubers who do restoration projects on those classic Minis. So yeah, I put an offer in for that. And the guy never ever. Well, we basically, I thought I was going to get it, and we kind of went to and fro. It was located about 90 miles from me, and obviously it had to be towed and recovered. So I was kind of organising that, and then I messaged him saying, I've got someone who can collect it, and he just never got back to me. So whether it was sold or ended up in a scrapyard, I will never know. But yeah, that was kind of just almost one of many things which just come up around. Like literally, they come up all the time, and I'm just like, oh, what a fantastic idea. But yeah, maybe it's a blessing in disguise I didn't buy that, except for the cost of fortune. But yeah, I get sidetracked so easily. I'll just talk about, you ask one question, I'll just go on for hours and hours and hours. I could literally talk for days. It's probably a positive and
fine.
negative in one. But
that's
next,
the open nature of a podcast. Ask anything, you talk about it, we have a chat. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
So a classic Mini, one car you like to work on.
Yeah, I mean, would I buy one for full price? Certainly not. But for the price it was, I was just like, I would love to own that car. Would I love to pay 12 grand to own it? Probably not. I probably will never own one unless the deal comes up like that again. But yeah, I just thought if I could get my hands on it, great. I don't know what my next project will be. I've always liked 350Z. My only reservation is, are they too similar to the MX-5? I'm not one to, I don't want to buy a car and spend a lot of money on it and sell it. Like, I kind of want to, like, my kind of philosophy is, if I'm buying a car to do properly, I don't want to sell it. So I almost probably not the smartest idea, but just like start accumulating a car collection slowly. And I mean, I know I've had other cars, I've had a van, that sort of thing, but was I really that passionate about buying a Citroen Relay van? Not really. Whereas if I was to buy something like a 350Z, again, I'd want to keep that. I wouldn't want to sell it.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know. It's a good question. Next car will probably be a daily driver. Yeah, something sensible, I can imagine. But yeah, it all depends on I finish the MX-5. I'm not 100% sure yet to answer the question, but yeah, something old. I like old cars.
That'd be quite cool. Anything. I think I'd really like to have like a classic E30 BMW.
Yes.
Those are absolutely gorgeous.
Now you've mentioned it, I was with my other half actually the other day, and there's one parked up just by our local Marks and Spencers. It's literally been parked on the road. I've never seen it move. It looks like it's seen better days again. I just like thought, why don't I just like leave a note on it? And they go for quite a lot. Like I think the last time I checked, there was like 8 grand, something like that, for like your standard one. Why don't I drop a note and maybe I'll get lucky and it's someone who doesn't drive it and wants to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in reality, I checked it and it's low mileage. It was MOT like 6 months ago. I just must have never seen it move. So yeah, I don't think we'll be getting that. But yeah, like you say, what a wonderful car. One of my subscribers actually has one, a supercharged one, and that looks ridiculous. That thing, like the chassis weighs nothing, and it's running like 600-700 horsepower in an E30 M3. So yeah, if he's watching this, then awesome car. I actually really want to go to Scotland to drive the thing. The offer's there. It's been there for about 2 years. It's just finding the time to travel up to Scotland to drive that thing. But yeah, that will feature on the channel one day in the hopefully not too distant future. So that's one to keep your eyes peeled for sure.
That sounds like a mad car.
Yeah, and it's similar to mine. How he's done like everything so well. Like the whole car stripped back to the chassis, repainted. Like, no nothing left kind of unturned almost, as you could say. So yeah, fantastic project. There are a couple of gems out there, sure.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. You got that side of thing where people strip it back, rebuild it to the specs that they want it. You've got other people who've got, like, I went to Cadwell Park to passenger on a track day, and there were people driving the BMW E30s Evo 2s, which are stupidly rare, like the track version of the E30. And if they bin it, that's it. That's a massive chunk of money just gone. And but here they are ripping it around the mini Nürburgring in the UK, and and
I see it being done. And you know what? I say I want to. I will drive the MX-5 on the Nürburgring when it's done. But God, will I be wearing a nappy whilst I'm doing it? The thought of binning that thing. And you know what? It's not even the expensive of the car. You actually have to sign a declaration on the Nürburgring, whereby if you do crash, you pay for the damage to the track as well. Like, if you take down you have to pay for that as well. Yeah, and it's not cheap. So, God, I don't think I'd love to think I'd drive it as hard as possible, but I think I'd keep my foot off the throttle ever so slightly, just with my bank account in mind at the back of my head.
No, there's plenty of other tracks in the UK, like Bedford it's completely flat, and it's just really, you go off and I think there's maybe 2 barriers that you'll probably hit if you go off anywhere. The rest of it is just open grass, or I think there's a couple gravel pits. So that track is brilliant for getting your eye in the car. Are you thinking of? Are you thinking of track daying the Mazda when it's done?
Well, I am. Bear with me. I'm just going to quickly pour a drink. If anyone's watching this video out there, do feel free to pour yourself one as well. It's Sunday evening at time of filming. I do have work tomorrow, but yeah, you know what? I think who doesn't want to film a podcast and sit back with a drink and relax on a Sunday evening, hey? But yeah, back to the question. Excuse me for interrupting. Yes, I mean, I've only ever done one track day. And reason behind that is the fact that I've owned the MX-5 for like just 3.5 years. And I think probably 2 years of that time it's been off the road, being worked on. So I've actually owned the car and I've driven it less than I've had it sitting in the garage, which, yeah, isn't that great. But yeah, I definitely, once it's back on the road, it will stay on the road for quite a while. I mean, it'll be repainted, but that sort of thing, I've had it off the road for a week, sound it down, repaint it, and it'll be back on the road. So there won't be any more major work done to the car for the next couple of years anyway. So yeah, definitely we'll be doing track. And most people don't know I'm drifting as well. So I'll be doing some drift days as well. My local, bloody hell, I'm not sure if you can hear that. There's an ice cream van going past. And I've got the window open, so you can probably hear the little jingle in the background. You know what? It's pulled up like literally a couple of doors down. So yeah, if it's still there in half hour, 45 minutes, I may run down and get a 99 flake. Yeah, I definitely want to be doing a few drift days, track days, definitely as soon as the car's back on the road. Yeah, make some good content, and also just to be able to test the car legally, because I'll be able to legally test the car on the road without breaking numerous laws, speed limits, that sort of thing. But yeah, no, definitely that will be coming as soon as the car's back on the road. When that will be, I'll be honest and say I don't know. I think I'm hoping by the end of the year the car's done is the plan. I'm hoping sooner, but that's, I think, more of a realistic time frame. But yeah, definitely 2021. Hopefully, will be a lot more positive than 2020 with everything that's gone on in the world.
Oh yeah,
crazy year.
We need it. We need another good year. Another 2016, please.
Oh yes, please. The only thing that could top that off is winning the Euros. That would be fantastic next year. I don't think that's likely, to be fair.
No,
but you never know. We've got some good young talent coming through.
I mean, no one expected us. No one expected us to do well at the World Cup. No one was interested until we won 2 games, and then it was all, it's coming home. It's coming home.
Oh bloody hell! I remember that year. Oh, that was incredible. You know what? Saying that, I sound like I'm bloody pension. Like I remember that year. It was honestly like, but yeah, no, incredible. I remember like in the pubs up in London, in the beer gardens, the scenes were ridiculous. Like, pints flying from every angle. It was
There was just a
insane. I remember.
massive
I think it was.
buzz. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I think it was the game against Panama, which we won 5-1. And literally, I just couldn't believe my eyes. I've never watched England play, football before and score so many goals. I was thinking, is this real? Like, am I pinching myself? Like, this is not England. Yeah, it's insane. Fingers crossed we have some better fortune in the years to come. I'm a massive football fan myself. So I'm really hoping, for a good year for us next year.
Yeah.
But
What did you think of the outcome of the league, the Premier League this year?
Right, well, this is where bridges can be burnt real quickly, or I'm joking, but I'm a Manchester United fan.
Oh,
My dad was from Manchester, so I've always been brought up supporting Man United. So seeing Liverpool win the league, I've seen better things, but you know what? They deserved it. They played a fantastic season. Klopp's done a blinder of a job at Liverpool as well. Considering they haven't won the league in, was it 30 years? They've done a great job. And also, you know what? We're having an alright season as well, which, actually joys me to say we've got a chance of maybe finishing in the top four. We've still got, we've got the FA Cup, we've got Europa League, so maybe we'll have some silverware as well. We can hope. But yeah, who do you support out of interest?
this is where the bridges get blown up by atomic bombs. I'm not that into
Until
football.
it's Liverpool.
Well, so I'm half Spanish, so I support Real Madrid because half my family are from Madrid. So I'm
You know what? I never thought you were Spanish. Are you born UK or?
yeah, born UK, half
Yeah,
Spanish.
I was gonna definitely. Oh, you know what? No one ever thinks it. I'm actually half Polish, and until I tell anyone, no one, everyone thinks I'm UK born and bred, which I am. But I've got half of my blood's from Poland, so yeah,
Oh, really?
funny world, hey?
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, not. Yeah, everyone has their own little backstory. Yeah, like it's again, like you said with YouTube before, and I've mentioned it so many times. Like there's so much which people don't notice behind the lens. People just think that's that guy I see on video, but actually, you know what? Everyone has got a life behind YouTube. I think people sometimes don't recognise that as well. Half Polish, proud to be. Yeah, proud to be, man.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, well, in Spain now, Madrid are very happy because they're winning the league. Only a couple games to go against the mortal enemies of Barcelona.
You know what? I've heard Lionel Messi maybe leaving at the end of the season, which will be a definitely shock to the system. But love football. We could talk about it for ages. Like it's one of those things where I'd love to. There's so many different like YouTube channels I could create. I'd love to do a football one, but there's no point being a jack of all trades. Hey, like I want to focus on one thing. But yeah, like I've recently actually redecorated loads of rooms in the house, and I was like, that would make such a cool video, but probably wouldn't appeal to my audience. Me building wardrobes and that sort of thing. So yeah, maybe one day we'll test the waters with something non-car related on the channel. But yeah, it will be staying car based for the future, and at least.
Yeah. Well, your channel name isn't exhausted anymore. It's not car related. It's you. So whatever you want to put up there. Hey, if people are watching your content for you, and then why not build a wardrobe? You're the same person building a car as you are a wardrobe or a garden shed pub.
Very true. Probably just as much swearing, rather breaking tools, and oh god, it's a nightmare. I've just been doing the kitchen. Had some guys in. I think I mentioned before we kicked off the podcast. So I've been painting that all day today. It's looked really nice actually. People don't actually know, but like behind the scenes, like one of my other passions is cooking. Like I'm really, really keen chef. Worked in a couple of like high-end restaurants whilst I was in school.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I love kind of fine dining. Always used to watch MasterChef when I was a kid. So yeah, I like to play around with cooking. So to have a new kitchen is a godsend. I'm gonna definitely be enjoying that over the rest of lockdown, doing some nice cooking.
Who's in the kitchen more then? Is it you?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. I cook every single meal. You know what? It's not a chore. I quite enjoy it. I mean, I think any guy in a relationship out there will happily say, hands held high, that having 45 minutes away from the missus is sometimes a positive. And yeah, to be to be doing something I enjoy, you know, it benefits both sides. She would be alive. She said she would love to do cooking that evening. She enjoys sitting down with her feet up watching TV, and I enjoy 45 minutes of stress-free in my evening. So, yeah, no, I
Everyone
enjoy
wins
doing
in this
all jokes
situation.
aside. Precisely, all jokes aside. But yeah, yeah, really enjoy doing the cooking. Yeah, well, it's not always extravagant, but when I have the time, yeah, I like to do some like more extravagant cooking. Yeah, it's really good fun.
Well, I think now's probably the perfect time to get to some quick fire questions, and I'll jump straight in to what's your favourite meal to cook?
Oh, you know what? It will have to be. And it surprises me to say this, but ask a quick fire question. You have to think on the spot. Probably be a Christmas dinner. Um, yeah, it's not that extravagant, but every year, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Every year, I just always look forward to cooking the Christmas dinner. So yeah, it would have to be Christmas roast.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a bit of everything, isn't it? You've got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, I do love it. And even with, I mean, I don't know if I must have some sort of mild OCD, but just having things, I mean, probably looking at the state of the shelves behind me, you'd think, yeah, he definitely does not have OCD. But yeah, just having everything come together at the same time on Christmas and it all be nice and warm, yeah, it's a lovely feeling. Yeah. But
That's really
yeah,
good.
I'm surprised at
Nice.
that.
Okay, what's your favourite crisp flavour?
Oh God! You know what? There's a new one which came out by Walkers during lockdown. I think it's like a Pizza Express American hot flavor, and all of these obscure flavors I've never been a fan of, but this came out. I thought I've got to try it because I'm a massive Pizza Express fan. And yeah, it actually tastes like a pizza. Who would have thought it? You know, I tasted it and I was like, wow, this is actually quite good. I mean, I've tried other ones before. They also did like a katsu curry one. Which kind of tastes like curry, but they've just thrown katsu in front of it to just make it sound slightly more upmarket by the looks of it. But yeah, no, these crisps are actually really good. Yeah, lovely. Second would definitely be prawn cocktail if we're going for the basic flavours.
Oh,
Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
I
well,
think
what's
prawn
yours?
cocktail has to be a British thing because there's only one person who's not said prawn cocktail is their favourite crisp flavour on the podcast, and he's Portuguese.
And what did he say?
It's sour cream and onion.
Oh God, what would you say then?
Sour cream and onion Pringles. Love them.
Oh, maybe it's the Spanish side because Portuguese, Spanish, similar
I don't
sort
know. I don't like prawn cocktail. I don't know what it is. I just
of.
never gotten on with it. Maybe,
I
maybe I
think
need
it's
to
a
try it
Marmite.
again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't know. You know what? It doesn't actually taste like what prawn cocktail tastes like in reality. It's
That might
just,
be why.
yeah,
'Cause I like prawn cocktail, but I don't like prawn cocktail crisps.
that's probably precisely why, to be fair.
Uh, right. Favorite chocolate bar.
You know what? No one's probably ever said this. I'm not a massive fan of chocolate. If I was have to choose, it's not really chocolate, but it'd be a white bueno. But yeah, I just don't eat a lot of chocolate at all. I mean, I can't. Yeah, probably eat about 10 chocolate bars a year maximum. Yeah, I'm not a massive
Yeah.
fan. I do have a sweet tooth. I much prefer like confectionery and sweets and that sort of thing, which isn't great for my teeth. But yeah, that's probably reflected in my last dental visit where I was handed an £800 bill and care plan for the next few months. So yeah, probably to lay off the sweets ever so slightly, but yeah, definitely got a sweet tooth for
Right
sure.
then. What's your favorite? What's your favorite sweet then? Gonna have to make you
It's got to
choose.
be. It's, you know, the sour belts that you used to get in like your old corner shop, and they're like like belts, and they come in. You get apple, strawberry, and like blue raspberry, and it would have to be a tie between apple and blue raspberry. I usually get like 10 of each, and then like I alternate them, so I have one green one, one blue one, and then what? Yeah, and whatever one you end on, you're really depressed. I'm like, oh God, which one do I want to end on? I can never decide, but I think if I have to make a split second decision, apple would probably be my number one. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. What your favourite song right now?
Hmm. Oh, wow. Now, if you saw my playlist on my phone, like I've got like 1,500 songs, and yeah, I don't know. My music taste is obscure, so it would either be one of two songs, and if anyone watching this will probably think, "What the hell?" And then you'll probably understand why my music taste is so strange. So it would either be "Bring Me the Horizon" Throne, which is like a more rock sort of song, or metal sort of song, or a song called Tony Soprano by Nines, which is like UK hip hop sort of thing. So both like on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. But yeah, my music taste is insane. Like all my mates laugh at me. Like I've got like UK hip hop. I've got rock. I've got metal, and then I've got bloody Taylor Swift thrown in there. And I've got about 50 Taylor Swift
She's
songs on
got
my
some
phone as well.
bangers in there. You can't deny that.
Thank you. Yeah, honestly, nothing makes my week anymore than when I go to the pub, karaoke's on, and the Taylor Swift comes on, and I am first in the queue to do the karaoke at the pub. Oh God,
Brilliant.
I will not. I won't give you a live performance now, but let's just say I know most of the words to quite a few Taylor Swift songs off the top of my head.
Right.
Definitely
Well,
a guilty pleasure.
when it's safe to go back outside, we'll have to have a karaoke at a pub. Sing along to
You know
Taylor.
what? But that is hands down the best idea I've heard all day. We should do we should do a YouTuber karaoke night, right? So we get loads of YouTubers together, and it'll be like a competition, or we could like live stream it or whatever, and people can vote for whoever's the best. That would be a good idea.
Yeah, I can't sing, so I will lose that, but I'll
Oh,
have fun doing
mate, but that makes two of us. So do not worry at all. I'm
Couple
always
points
the
down,
first
who
person.
cares?
Yeah, I'm always the first person to get up and sing. But yeah, I always show myself up. It's quite funny, I was probably New Year's a few years ago. Must have been like 2 or 3 years since I'd left school. And I got up in this club and I was singing like, I can't remember what it was, Wonderwall by Oasis. And I saw a group of girls out the corner of my eye who actually like were in my year at school. And it's just the most embarrassing moment of my life, like me like so drunk singing Oasis. And they literally pointed and they were like, "Oh my God, is that Ocsar Brown from school?" And I thought, oh, because I was halfway through the song. I couldn't just give up then. So I had to go all out for the rest of the song. But yeah, that was up there with embarrassing moments, which I've had at the pub, which there are many more where that one came from.
Amazing. We've all got those moments, but they're the best moments, really.
Exactly. You know what? If it didn't happen, I wouldn't have had something to talk about at this moment in the podcast. So it was a positive, hey?
Favorite film?
You know what? It has to be Fast and Furious. If I was to choose which one, it'd be Tokyo Drift. Yeah, I guess that set off my passion for like one cars, but two like drifting, which really kind of got me into that. Yeah, it would have to be Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, shortly followed by Titanic. Because yeah,
I've never
what
seen
an amazing
Titanic.
film.
I think I'm in a very
God,
small minority of people.
you're doing yourself an injustice. Please, for the love of God, go watch it after our podcast today. Brilliant film.
I think I promised my girlfriend that we'll watch it together. So,
Oh God, yeah, I watched it with my girlfriend actually, and it's the one film which I can safely, hand on heart, say I've cried to, and I cried to it every time I've watched it. It's just like, I don't know, it just tickles a nerve somewhere in me, and yeah, no, what a film, definitely a massive classic.
yeah, there's not a lot of films I've cried. I cried to Black Hawk Down.
You know what? I've never seen that either.
Oh, that is a
Every,
brilliant film. That is one of the best war films ever, I think. It's just how immersive it is. There's a lot of films on Netflix now. The Netflix own war films like 12 Strong or whatever it is. They're good, but they're standard films. 90 minutes. Here's your plot. Here's your bad guy. Just go in and save the day. Some people die, some people don't. But Black Hawk Down was just so immersive, so like that hit me hard watching that.
yeah.
I've watched it. It's probably the film I've watched the most over and over again, easily. I could watch it on repeat. I think it's just
Yeah, everyone has that one film which never ever gets boring, and you can just turn around and watch it any time. Yeah, no, that would be my Titanic. Like I could watch that time after time again, and I'll cry every single time, even though I know the storyline. I know I'm about to cry. I'll try to hold it back. Like the worst one is when like the first time I watched it with my current girlfriend, and like I was watching it, and I was like, "Please don't cry, come on, be a man." And like, you know, you're really, really trying, like, hold back tears, no, but then you cry, you're just bloody hell. But yeah, it's a funny conversation starter, hey.
It is.
So, yeah,
Hey, it's a good start. I cried at Titanic. Okay, you have a heart.
yeah, exactly. That's as far as it goes. Just that you have to let them know there. Like, that's the only thing I'll cry at. No, jokes aside.
Yeah. What's your favourite TV show?
Man, you know what? This was Top Gear until like there was a really controversial switch up of presenters when Clarkson, Hammond, and May left. And I was one of the few which wasn't a massive fan of the new series after that. So it would have been Top Gear. Now I don't actually watch much TV. Really, like, I don't have much time to watch TV. I've been watching quite a lot of Netflix. I think as most of us have over the last few months, because there is actually bugger all else to do apart from watch Netflix. I've pretty much completed that over the last 3 months. You know what? Tough question.
It can be a Netflix show or whatever, just any type of series.
Okay, you probably haven't heard of it. It's a Netflix one I watched ages ago. It's called Once Upon a Time.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard. Yeah, it's like a sort of real life. It's like I don't know. There's two worlds. There's real life, and then there's the fantasy world. And it's like all the Disney characters all kind of thrown into one thing. And yeah, it was what a series. I mean, there was 7 7 seasons. Sorry, not series. And yeah, what an incredible series. It was one of those things. I think you either get into it in the first 2 episodes or you don't. Yeah. And if you do, like, I binge watched that in like 2 weeks. I was up to like 4 o'clock every morning, and I watched like 6 episodes every single evening. Yeah, I literally was addicted to it. And it's one of those things, you get to like the last 2 episodes, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? And then like reality sets in, and you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, I might get a good night's sleep. Yeah, no, that would have to be it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think for me, it's Mad Men was probably my favourite series.
I've not seen that.
It was on Netflix until the beginning of June, but it was really well done. I liked it a lot because my job's quite similar to it, marketing type stuff, and account management is all part of it. So I liked it for that as well. But yeah, it's just really well done. So I'd recommend it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to watch that. What was it called? So I'm going to write it down because otherwise I'll forget.
Mad Men.
Mad Men.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go, and I will get back to you on my thoughts. Yeah. It's always good to have a new series, though, right? Like, I've actually exhausted most of the ones on Netflix, so yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, no, Netflix has got loads of stuff. I mean, my girlfriend watched Tiger King. I haven't seen that either. That's about this guy who owned like a tiger sanctuary.
Oh yes, yeah. I saw it. Everyone was talking about it on Facebook, and like, I can't remember. There was like some sort of like someone didn't agree with how he was keeping the tigers or whatever, and then
And then that person that didn't agree killed her husband. That's where the Carol Baskin stuff comes from.
It sounds insane. Yeah, I might have to watch that at some point. I haven't got around to that, but it was all over Facebook for about a week, and like everything that I saw on there was like related to that. So yeah, I'll have to watch that as well. Actually, literally, just adding things to my to-do list. Like, oh God, just forever grows. It never gets shorter.
Yeah, no, I think Netflix series is one of those things that can drop down in the priority list, and just when it comes to it, luckily. Otherwise, it's just sit and watch Netflix all day, which wouldn't be very productive.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, but you could spend find more productive ways of spending your time for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I think we've reached a really cool point to end the podcast, but we're not finished just yet. I'm going to give you the floor. This is your time to plug your channel, plug your social media, whatever you're working on. This is your time.
Awesome, thanks, man. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I'm sure you've heard it 101 times in this video. My name's Ocsar. I have Mark X5, which I'm forging, doing a build. If you're interested in any car-related content, yeah, be sure to jump over to my channel. I'm sure it'll be somewhere in the description or on the screen or whatever. But yeah, massive thanks for letting me on the podcast today. Really had a great evening doing so. And yeah, we'll have to do something as well, maybe like next weekend or something. We'll do a podcast on my channel or whatever for you as well. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll hopefully see you over on my channel.
Yeah. All the description.
Don't forget, if you've come from this video, then yeah, mention me in the comments. Mention that you're from this video in the comments. Yeah, and I'll give you a big warm welcome.
Yeah, all the descriptions, all the links will be in the description below. Oscar, it's been great having you. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast, and definitely we'll set something up to go onto your channel. That would be amazing.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Take care.
When I